One other quick topic before we close out is I'd love to chat about is boundaries.
Mm.
So oftentimes I find that there's a correlation between feminine energy and not having boundaries. And I oftentimes also hear from male counterparts as we're having these conversations like, hey, I need you to soften that a little bit. And they're like, I'm not a pushover. That's the word they use back. And I would like to disperse that rumor right now that you can still have feminine energy and still hold boundaries. I think, Tiffany, this is something you and I work on all the time. But Rahila, I'd love to hear from you on how you coach your clients through that.
Yeah. It's a tough one because feminine energy can be perceived as being less strong than masculine energy, and it's absolutely not. It's the energy of creation. And I don't know how much stronger you get than that. And it is hard. It's hard to have your boundaries, but being in your feminine energy absolutely does not mean that you're a pushover. And I do think that you lean into it more as you progress through life and progress through the decades, essentially. But if I'm coaching people through feeling like they are being perceived as pushovers, boundaries is a very, very common topic that comes up. And again, instinctively, you know when you are being pushed around, when you're being taken advantage of, and those pieces, and you have choices whether you want to do something about that or whether you don't. And if you don't, that's a whole different conversation. And if you do, it's like, okay, so again, we could bring in the atomic habits principle of, okay, what does a 1% shift to in your favor look like? But in addition to that, it's really trying to understand where is that person coming from and what are they trying to achieve? So I feel that if you're finding that your boundaries are being consistently pushed by a particular individual or a particular situation, it may be a really clear indicator that you need to go back to the drawing board with them and say, look, this is like, there's something about this approach that's not aligning for me right now. How can we look at this differently? Because I'm trying to get to X, you're trying to get to Y, but essentially our outcome for the company, for example, is the same. So how do we work on this collaboratively? And I would actually invite them to work in a collaborative way or encourage my clients to get whoever it is that they're facing a situation with to try that as probably a first approach.
Yeah. I think, Kel, I deal with that comment all the time as well. Um, like people don't like the word soften. It feels like icky sometimes for whatever reason. And I did a negotiation class once at Berkeley through like this Women in Berkeley program that I got to do through DocuSign. It was really fascinating. But this negotiation class helped frame that as instead of like softening it, like you need to negotiate. Like you can't come in and it's not going to work. Being authoritarian doesn't work here. You're going to lose players along the way and you're going to lose buy-in and things are going to get deprioritized behind your back. So let's figure out how you set up everyone you go give this to be bought in. It's a manipulation, feels like a negative connotation, but like you're politicking. It's why people don't like some levels of corporate because you're playing politics, you're getting people to see your side. And I do think people have this like negative reaction to softening or like a softer approach, a softer feminine energy, when in reality, like most good negotiators, like that's exactly what they're doing
Mhm.
all the time, 24/7.